My name is Rick Skidmore, and I make shutters. 25 years ago, I had an old home, it needed shutters. I couldn't find anybody to make them. I was a woodworker with a little bit of talent. 25 years later, we were making the finest shutters you can find anywhere. Our mission is to make every welcome home moment extraordinary. Normally, we wouldn't actually have the opportunity to go out and visit with a homeowner at their home because we sell to people all across the world. But in this situation, they just happen to be local and they're really good friends of mine. I just hope I don't screw it up because we have an inside sales team that does a remarkable job and they never actually get the opportunity to go out to the house in person like I am. So I really got to deliver.
Our kids were grown, we decided to move into the city and we bought a house that needed a full body transplant.
This home is awesome.
I know, I'm pretty excited. It's a magnificent house. It deserves some great shutters.
So the time is finally here.
Finally.
We did have shutters on the house at one point. They were in really horrific shape. Magically one day, the demo guys thought they were trash and took them away. So that was my opportunity to do something new.
He's been keeping me on budget.
She's been working hard, mostly on the inside.
But now it's time to move outside. And this house has an amazing history, and it's about
Okay.
time she gets her shutters outside.
So tell me about the history.
So, house was built in 1865.
Okay.
In the 1900s, it was swapped over from a Victorian style to more federal style.
More like
and you
colonial
can see,
revival, that's typical.
Correct.
We know, for example, that Albert Einstein was in the house. We know, for example, that Harry Houdini is in the house. I always kind of say maybe he's still here trying to get out. It also has the distinction of being the house that Bruce Willis died in the movie The Sixth Sense. So every once in a while, we say hello to a few dead people wandering aimlessly around the house.
So David, what do you think about this project?
I've always thought my house was totally naked without shutters.
Well,
It's,
it does look kind of naked out here, doesn't it?
Listen, it's a special house, and
It needs to have some really fine shutters.
So what are you envisioning for shutters? What have you dreamed of?
I wanted something that would last, that wouldn't rot, that wouldn't have to need a lot of maintenance, and it had to be historically appropriate.
A lot of my neighbors still, their house is Victorian, and they
Okay.
have slats, but I think I'd like to go
With some type of paneled shutter.
correct.
Okay. This is all about finding out what you want to do.
Okay.
The next step is I want to talk to the Historic Commission to see if they have any perspective on what would have been appropriate. And then we'll talk to your contractor
Okay.
and also your architect.
Okay.
So that's kind of part of the process. So
Okay.
we kind of take your dreams and kind of marry it with what would have been appropriate and what would have been typical.
Terrific.
The Philadelphia Historic Commission is known for being pretty stringent. We brought them in on the conversation very early on just to make sure that they gave us some direction. We already kind of had an idea what we wanted to do, but we really wanted their blessing. It must be John.
Hey, yes, John Totes.
Rick Skidmore. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Thanks for coming out. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So I just came from the Historic Commission
Okay.
and talked to them about shutter styles and which type of styles they would endorse.
Okay.
So what's your perspective on this?
I think we really want to be staying with the sort of the more current adaptation of the building, because that's really what the facade presents itself as.
Okay.
I think if we started to put the Victorian shutters back on, it would start to conflict with some of the detailing that's on the outside that presents itself right now.
I agree.
Shutters provide, on this house particularly, another layer of detail and complexity to the facade. And they also help balance out the facade from a scale perspective where the windows as punctures in the masonry, then you have the masonry, which is a second skin on the building, and the shutters add a third texture to that of color and appearance.
So we have the Historical Commission who basically gave us latitude to do Louvre panel.
Good.
Your bias is panel, mine is panel. So I'm going to meet with the homeowners a little later, share what I've learned. Okay. Now though I'm going to meet with the contractor to talk about how to actually get them hung, because we've got some challenges with the hardware.
Always.
Right? So thanks again. Great
Absolutely.
meeting you. All right?
Absolutely.
So knowing the age of this home, having been to the home several times, and having already taken a look at the windows, I knew the hardware was going to be a challenge.
Typically, these old windows will have, for the shutters, will have pencils,
Right.
like mounting brackets for the shutters. But over the years, they're, as you can see, they're
Yeah,
not
they're
here.
gone. So we had to engineer something that looked like it had always been there, but really is brand new. And that's what we do well. And that's where we have fun too, making it look old when it's actually really new. Let's talk about the shutters. These things are big,
Yes, they are.
like really big and really heavy. So
Yes.
I assume you're going to get a lift
Yes,
to put
we'll
this
have-
up.
yep.
Okay. So the last thing we need to do is have you get us some measurements.
Okay.
All right. So we're typically going to measure in the area inside the brick. So
Okay.
I'm going to leave you to your measuring tape, and then we can get working.
Okay,
All right.
sounds
Awesome.
great.
Thanks again, John.
Great
All right.
meeting you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I learned by making mistakes on other parts of my house and projects because budget, budget, budget. But this time I wanted something to last.
Oh no! Whoa!
Awesome
what are you
timing.
doing here?
Awesome timing. So what do you think?
Huge. It's beautiful.
So I just took this off of our shop floor. I saw a job that was flowing through that looked really close to what I
Okay,
had in mind.
okay.
So I just grabbed it.
Okay.
Before we get into this, let me
Yep.
bring you up to speed. So I had a great conversation with John Toth, your architect.
Okay.
I talked to your contractor,
Okay.
the other John. And before that, I talked to the Philadelphia Store Commission.
You've been busy.
I have. So we have some thoughts.
Okay.
Okay, so we're thinking that a solid shutter is the way to go.
I'd love to have a solid shutter.
Awesome. So this is actually Honduras mahogany. So
beautiful.
So the next thing is I want to talk to you about maybe doing them in Honduras mahogany.
Well, it's an investment. I've waited a long time to get shutters on my house.
You mentioned something about
Well,
a
David's
surprise.
out of the country,
Okay.
and I really want to surprise him.
Okay.
Is there any way you can turn this around in 7 days?
Like 7 days from like now?
Yeah.
So you want ridiculously custom shutters in 7 days?
Yes.
With custom hardware that we haven't even talked about that we're going to have to get done.
Yeah. Well.
Okay.
Yeah.
We need to talk color.
I'm torn. Do I match the door? Do I go complement it? Thinking green or black?
So I had a feeling you were still going to be undecided. So I took the liberty.
Sorry.
No. That's what people do. First, I'm going to show you the green shutters.
It looks like a Christmas tree. So this is really helpful. I don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
So let's look at black.
Love it. Love
That's it.
Yeah, that's
so
it.
like in a half a second.
With the goes with the wrought iron. It complements it. That's it. Decision.
Okay. All right. Once the meeting with the homeowners and the architect and the builder was done, it's time to get back to the shop, meet with the team, and mobilize everybody on this project. So we're used to dealing with like crazy timelines, but not this crazy, not when there's custom tooling involved, custom wood, and normally we would give our engineering department more than a few hours to get drawings done for a job. But in this case, we had a lift showing up in 7 days and we had to get moving. All right, Jeff, you had like 2 or 3 hours. What do you got?
This one is the first floor with the 10-40 split.
Right, so 10% of the length of the shutter,
Right.
right? 40, 10, 40 equals
Right.
100. Okay, got it. Wow, so how long is that again?
I think the dimensions you gave me was 103. So
103
so
inches
these
long.
are monsters. And then the second floor, you said you want to do a 1,005 configurations, is 3
Yeah.
sections.
Perfect.
And then the third floor is
Just 2.
Yep.
So let me see the cross section. I want to see how the trim detail worked out.
Sure.
So I see here the trim actually extends beyond the face of the shutter.
Right. We do have to get a special cutter for that. But
Can we get that in time?
Yeah, we should be able to rush that. That one's not my concern. I'm
Okay.
more concerned about the hardware.
Okay, go back to the first floor drawing real
Yep.
quick. Yeah, that's exactly what that house needs. Homeowners are going to love it.
Yeah, I think they're going to look great.
So step 1, we have to take rough sawn wood and convert it into dimensioned lumber so we can actually start to make parts.
On the screen through the CAD system that's connected up front to engineering, we'll be running the mortises and the long slides. We do have a double head setup, so one mirrors the other and they will both run at the same time.
That's awesome.
We can hit the go button and it's going to tell us where all the cuts are going to start.
So let's run it. Once the wood is cut, dimensioned, and the parts are machined, now it's time to hand assemble it and turn those parts into shutters. So once the shutters are assembled, now we have to trim them to the final size, and then after we trim them, we run them through a sander to get them ready for finished paint. Normally our customers are pretty far away from where we are, so we never get people walking in. Every now and then it happens, and when it does, we love it. But in this situation, Dorothy was actually in a neighborhood visiting another craftsman that was doing work on her house and just popped in unannounced. And she couldn't have timed it any better because we were literally just getting ready to paint her shutters.
Oh my gosh, these are mine?
So you never really know how much a homeowner is going to fall in love with your product. You want them to like jump up and down, but you really never know until they see it for the first time.
Oh my gosh, they're phenomenal. Look at them.
I can tell. This is your second floor shutter. This isn't even the biggest one.
No way.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're huge.
Yeah. Come on down here, I'll show you the first floor. Ah, here we go. Right here.
The detail, look at this.
That's your
Oh
first
my
floor
gosh,
shutter.
it's like a piece of jewelry on the front of the house.
When Dorothy walked through the doors and saw them, and she made the reference that they're like jewelry, that just validates everything we do, and I know in that moment we got it right.
Unbelievable.
Look at that.
I hope you have some
happy?
good hinges.
We do, don't worry. So when you write a dimension down on paper or see a drawing and something says it's 100 inches long, you really don't have a sense for how big that is until you stand next to it. And I thought it was priceless when Dorothy saw some normal shutters for like normal homes, and then hers was standing right in front of it, and it just dwarfed her, and it just really, you know, in that moment you realize just how big these shutters really are.
We use a European coating system, and we're going to put 2 coats on, what we call wet on wet.
Okay.
So what Ed is doing now is he's putting the first base coat on, and it may look easy, but he's been doing this for like a long time.
No.
And getting a consistent thickness or millage is what
Yeah,
they call it,
yeah.
is actually a challenge, because you don't want heavy edges.
Nope.
Okay.
Or
you want
drips. I don't want any drips.
Right, exactly.
Well, it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
It looks really beautiful. Nice and smooth and like a piece of glass.
We do a lot of historic restoration, a lot of renovation work here in the city. These were the biggest shutters that we've installed.
The materials were delivered beautifully packaged, totally protected. It was very easy for the contractor to then take everything that was perfectly packaged, identified, to then take it and install it.
Hey Rick, it's Dorothy. I just got off the phone with David. Yep. He's going to be here in about an hour. Any chance you can swing by and meet me so you're here for the surprise?
So it always feels awesome when you get to the end of a project like this with so many moving parts and you've just hit the ball out of the park, which I think we did.
So what do you think his reaction is going to be?
It's transformational, so how can he not be excited? I think he's going to be in a state of shock because I can't believe you pulled it off. A week ago, there was nothing.
I can't
and
wait to see the look on his face when he gets out of the car and he
Okay.
looks up.
When I saw them, I actually was amazed because I didn't think that it would transform the house as much as it did.
How are you?
Hey, David, how are you? How are
I
you?
was going to say, what are you doing here?
Well, I think it's
pretty
clear now,
obvious.
right?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Wow.
How phenomenal.
How fast? This is amazing.
We did it really fast.
You certainly
We
did.
did.
He pulled it off. I'm so excited. We did it.
Look how excited she is. What do
I
you think?
know.
No, it's. I mean, you just look at the next door. I mean, you can see just the difference in how the house changes.
Welcome home.
Before I felt like it just was missing something, and now I walk up and I smile and I think she looks beautiful. I couldn't be more pleased.
Our goal is to make every welcome home moment extraordinary, and I'm just thrilled that we're able to do that for Dorothy and David. We can't celebrate for long because the phone's going to ring tomorrow with the next project, and chances are it's going to be just as complicated as this one. But this is what we do and we love it.